Very good morning to you all children. Today we are going to see our new lesson, lesson 9, Introduction to FOSS. From this lesson, you are going to learn about the various FOSS applications and also how to search and download them using the internet, and you are going to see the different features of using these FOSS applications. So shall we start learning? What is FOSS? Why we are learning this? Of course, it is free and it is open source. So the abbreviation for FOSS is free and open source software is called as FOSS applications. Okay. So what is meant by FOSS? Suppose every application is always written in some programming language. You all know that, no? So every application is written with a programming language. The code of that programming, okay, that particular application, it is called as that program code, no? So that is called as the source code. Suppose you want to add a feature, okay, for example in Office Writer, okay, which is not available, and then you can easily modify its source code, which means the programming code, you can easily modify it and you can add a feature to that particular application. And also you can share that updated source code with your friends. Okay, so you can share that updated source code with your friends. So here the freedom to modify, that means to edit or reuse the software's source code, is known as the free and open source software. So that applications are called as the free and open source software. Have you all understood, children? It allows the users or the programmers to edit, change or modify, okay, or reuse the software's source code, which is also known as the programming code for that application. So those softwares are called as free and open source softwares. So there are various examples like Notepad, TuxPaint, Office Writer, Windows Explorer, Office Calc, okay, Python, Java, SQL. So all these are the example for free and open source softwares. Now we are going to see about the father of Free Software Foundation. He is Richard Matthew Stallman. Okay, he launched that GNU project in 1983, which is the first initiative for this free software movement. From there only it started. Okay, so father of Free Software Foundation is Richard Matthew. Okay, we are saying about the free. So what is free here? Free and open source. So what is meant by free? Free here means the freedom to access. The freedom to access. So usually all the companies, okay, they won't give that source code to us. So we cannot, always that source code is hidden. Okay, we cannot find that. But there are some softwares in which we can easily access the source code and we can modify those source code to our convenient by adding, if you want to add any feature extra to it, you can add that by changing its source code. So the freedom here, okay, can be categorized into 4 types. So already we have seen about the 2 freedoms. So before I told you the example, no? So you can change, okay, you can modify the source code and you can add a feature to it. So which means that one freedom is used to these applications for our purpose. So upon our convenience we are using this. And the second I have told you is the freedom to share with others. So these are the 2 freedoms which we have already seen in our definition. So the first is the freedom to run the software for any purpose. So for our own convenience we can change the source code, okay, so that we can add any feature to it. And secondly, the freedom to study how the program works and change it to do what it want to do. Okay, we can easily learn, okay, the program code from it, okay, and we can also see how that program code changes the work in that particular application. Okay, access to the source code is very essential for this purpose. Okay, so providing that access to the source code is called as the open source. If it is not open source, we cannot access the source code. Okay, so providing access to the source code is very important in FOSS applications, and access to that source code is called as the open source. Okay, so this is our first freedom, the freedom to run the software for any purpose, and secondary is the freedom to study how the program works. Okay, and then our third freedom is freedom to redistribute copies of the software. So we are changing something, we are changing the source code, and then we can share it. Okay, we can share it, so that is a fourth point. Okay, the free to distribute copies of the modified version to others. So that is the fourth point. By doing this, we can give the whole community, okay, the whole people, we can give them a chance to benefit from the improvements which we make in that particular application, so that everyone can benefit. So these are the 4 freedoms of using the FOSS applications. We are going to see how we can use these FOSS applications. So how do we know how to install and use and feature of an application, okay, of the FOSS application? So first, the installation process. So various notes and guidelines for installing and using these applications are provided within the application itself. So whenever you are downloading itself, you can find out the way to download it. So the guidelines, so these guidelines, they are called as the documentation. So sometimes users of FOSS applications put up online tutorials using this software. So how to use that software, if you go in YouTube, you can find, or in any user forum websites, you can see that. Okay, so first installations. So they are in internet, if you go, many applications are there for downloading. Okay, for example, Office, LibreOffice, it can available both in, it can also be in Ubuntu as well as in Windows. Okay, so the installation is very easy using the internet. Then we are going to see about the documentation. So it is usual, as I told you before, some FOSS applications are provided with the installation guide itself within the application. So that process is called as the documentation. So it is usually available for the installation, and other help links can be searched from, okay, as I already told you, so various from the user forum websites or from YouTube or from the internet, you can search the problems and their solutions here. So some applications may also provide the documentation under the help menu. So if you go to that help menu, you can find the answers for your problems and their solutions. And next we are going to see about the troubleshooting. So for clarification on any on an application, that usually there will be the FAQs, which is known as the frequently asked question section, available in the application website. If you go there, and there you can find, okay, the most commonly and most important questions which is already answered. You can go there and just check, okay, if you have the same question, you will get the answer there. Okay, and then the queries can also be uploaded on the user forum websites. I already told you, so like so all the this is the most important user forum website. So if you go and search there, you will get the answers for all your problems there. Okay, have you all understood? And now we are going to see about an open source operating system, which is the Android. Okay, so Android is an open source operating system, and now we are going to see about the evolution of the Android. So how it started and till now, what are the versions available. So Android is an, as I told you, Android is an open source operating system which is developed for touchscreen mobile devices. So as you all know, it is developed for the touchscreen mobile devices. So Android open source project was introduced by California based company called Android. Okay, it was introduced by a California based company called Android. Okay, this company was bought by Google within 2 years of its launch. So within 2 years of its launch, Google bought this company, and this Android operating system is based on Linux. Okay, it's based on Linux. The source code of the Android OS is related under the open source license by Google. So the source code, okay, it is related under open source, which means that the program code is easily available to access. Okay, and software developers or the manufacturers, okay, of various mobile phones like Nokia, Samsung, etc. So all these people can use the source code of the Android platform to develop high-tech devices and see the latest version. So update the existing devices or design new applications. Okay, so it was developed by a California based company, and within 2 years Google bought it. Okay, and this Android open source software is easily the program code is very easily accessible. So the software developers or the manufacturers from various mobile companies, okay, they use the source code for developing the new devices, updating the existing devices, introducing a high-tech mobile. Okay, for all these they are using this Android open source software. Okay, it is especially designed to support the touch screen. Okay, and it's used in multiple devices like you all know, smartphones, tablets, laptops, automobiles, watches, digital watch, digital camera. Okay, so all these are example, okay, where you can use this Android software. Okay, so the Google launched Android Studio. So the official integrated development environment, which is known as IDE. So integrated development environment for Android platform. So it also allows the developers to design and develop good quality apps. So various apps we are using in our mobile phones, right? So all these apps were updated by using its the source code. Okay, by using the source code, all these applications were updated with the good quality apps. Okay, so these IDE includes a source code, building tools, and also a debugger. So starting from the Cupcake till okay Oreo, so this was the development of the Android application. And now we are going to see some basic features of Android. The basic feature of Android include the interface, security, application, and virtual reality. So what is meant by the interface? So interface, in direct manipulation we can touch the screen. So with that we are communicating with the device. And in home screen you will have the apps as well as the widgets. In status bar it gives info about the devices, the connectivity, and the notification. So this will be very easy for you. So we are using the touch inputs. Just we are touching and an application opens up. If you are touching a particular application and then it automatically gets open. So this is the touch inputs. And home screen. In home screen only we will be having the apps as well as the widgets, or else the any image, any wallpaper, etc. So in status bar, okay, it shows the about any notification, info about the device, and also the network connectivity. And in security, if you move on to security, we can scan the inbuilt apps. Okay, if there is any virus, we can scan it, and then we can secure our data if the device is lost, and we can lock our phone using the fingerprint password. And third, we are moving on to the application. So official app store for Android is Google Play Store. Okay, since Google owns Android, okay, so the official app store for Android is Google Play Store. And then F-Droid for FOSS-based application, we are using F-Droid. And then we are moving on to the virtual reality. So Daydream, a platform where we can use to assess the virtual reality contents. So these are the basic features of using an Android applications. So have you all clear, children? Yes? So four applications are nothing but they are the free and the open source software which allows the users or the programmers to edit, modify, or we can also use others software's source code. So the freedom here is one. For the first freedom is we can share these applications, and second we can use these applications for our purpose, and the third one is the freedom to redistribute the copies of the software to anyone, and then we can redistribute the copies of the modified version to others. So and there are many FOSS applications. So for example, Java, Python, Office Impress, Office Base, Xmint, Google Earth. Okay, so all these are the examples of the open source software. So have you all clear, children? Now then we have seen about the Android. Okay, Android is an open source operating system. Okay, so here the Android open source project, it was started by the California based company Android, and this company was bought by Google in 2 years, and the source code of the Android OS is released under open source license by the Google. So open source means the program code or the source code is open to everyone. We can easily access it. So software developers or the manufacturers of various mobile companies, okay, they use the source code of the Android open source to develop the Android, okay, to develop the applications which is available, okay, and then they can also design new applications and update existing devices, okay. So for all these, accessing the source code is very important. So wherever we are using Android applications is now smartphones, tablets, laptops, wristwatches, digital cameras. So all these are the devices where we are using the Android applications. And we have also seen about the basic features of the Android, okay. In interface we can have direct manipulations with the touch screen, okay, and in home screen there will be the apps and the widgets, okay. In status bar we can get the info about the device, the network connectivities, and then the notification. So for security purpose we can have the fingerprint password, and we can also manage our device if it is lost, and we can also scan the apps in our devices, and the official app store for Android where we can download the applications, also the Google Play Store, and F-Droid is also available for the FOSS-based app store, okay. Here we can download the FOSS-based applications, okay. And then we are moving on to the virtual reality. So Daydream, it is a platform where we can access the virtual reality content. So have you all clear, children? Thank you.